Hey, before we get into today's episode, if you're a podcast host or guest, listen up. I've produced over 200 podcast episodes and guested on 50 podcasts just in 2025 alone. And let me tell you, nothing grows your audience or builds trust faster than being in front of the right listeners. That's why I created my podcast tour offer. I'll help you map out your topics, strategize your message, and find you the most aligned podcasts and audiences to get you and your business in front of. So if you've ever thought, I just wish more eyes were on my work, this is your sign. Let's get you on a podcast tour. You can find all the details in the show notes. Just look for podcast tour. Now let's dive into today's episode. All right, back with the solo episode. Last solo episode, I said that I would create an episode that is all about what to do after your guest appearance to actually build authority. When you think about it, getting to speak on a podcast is a big deal. Not everybody has their own podcast. Not everybody gets to speak on a podcast. And podcast hosts are not saying yes to everyone to be on their show. And so it is an automatic authority builder, especially when you're using it to grow your business and be seen as that go-to in your industry. The reason why, let's dive into that, is that the podcast host is already building the know, like, and trust factor with their audience. They're showing up consistently. They're doing all the things to make sure that their audience trusts them, and they're building that. And then you get on the show and the podcast host introduces you. They share your accolades. They share your title. They share your experiences and what it is that you do. Being introduced like that automatically ups your authority, automatically builds trust much quicker than somebody stumbling across a 7-second reel of you. There's too much AI, too many things going on where we just don't have a lot of trust in people. So getting basically not live, but you know what I mean, your voice and sometimes video is just creating that level of trust and that level of the audience feeling like they know you, which is going to be huge for when it's time to buy from you, sign up with your offer, things like that. So you just wrapped your podcast recording, you're thanking the host and you're moving on, but this is where a lot of guesting appearances don't convert or fall flat because people stop paying attention and they stop following up, and you want to follow up. People get busy. Sometimes the host might forget to tell you that your episode aired. So follow up with them with a quick email, thank them for letting you on the show, and ask if they know when your episode's going to be aired so that you're prepared to share it. I send my guests video clips, graphics that they can use and share, but it's very appropriate to also ask for the audio or the video from the podcast, whether you can get access to it or get clips sent to you from it. That's super appropriate because you're going to want to take those things and not only when they tag you on social media, reshare it or whatever, you're also going to want to take it and post it from your own feed so that it lives on your own page and your own feed, because this is where someone's scrolling and going to your feed to see, oh, they're on a podcast, they're a speaker, right? This puts you in a different light than other people that aren't doing these things. So definitely repurpose this content on social media. You can also reshare this on social media more often than you think. This is something that just because it aired this week, yes, I want to share it immediately. I want to get people's eyes, ears on it immediately. But also if it's 3 months from now, reshare it. Nobody's paying attention to you that closely that they're like, oh, why does Candace keep always sharing about this one podcast she's on? And also if they are, like, move on, block goodbye, not your people. But you can reshare this. A host is never going to be mad to see that you're resharing the episode that you were on. And it just showcases you in this light that is so much more important and a go-to and authority builder, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to grow a business. The next thing is to think about a blog post. If you're a blogger or you love SEO, if you have the capacity for this, you can take the episode and turn it into a blog. You can take the juiciest pieces, your best tips, and create a blog post, put it on your website, and now you're increasing your own digital presence, the podcast that you were on, digital presence, and it's increasing both of your likelihoods to be found in a search in Google and on ChatGPT and all the things. And this is fantastic. All these backlinks and things like that, as well as knowing that blog posts and podcasts have an extremely long lifespan, longer than anything else, because of the fact that they are searchable and that they don't just go away after X amount of time like a reel and social media and things like that do. The next piece of what you can do is share it with your email list. And if you don't have an email list, take this as your sign. You need to start one because you do not own your social media platforms. You can get locked out of them or canceled or hacked at any moment of any time, and then you'll have nothing. So make sure you have an email list started, even if it's small. But you can share that guesting appearance on your email list. Share it with them. Share the link. share the best bits and pieces of it, entice them to go listen to it, as well as it just paints you in the light of like, I am guesting on podcasts on a regular basis, or, one a month or whatever, and they can see this and then they'll go listen to you and they're going to see you in a different light. Another thing you can do is Spotify. You can create playlists of the podcasts that you're on, the ones that air on Spotify. You can create a playlist and then that link can be shared. Share it on social media, share it on your stories. That's a great way to also, when you're trying to get on more podcasts, you can share that link to show the host, hey, I've done this. I'm not a rookie. And that's comforting from a host to be able to do a quick browse and listen to something that you've already been on, because it just makes us know for sure that the episode's going to be great and not flop. So that's kind of a lot. And you want to make sure that you're doing what you can by sharing the episode, but also not burning yourself out. So I'm not saying that you should share it all over social media, repurpose the content, make video clips, and write a blog, and an email, and. I'm just giving you ideas, and you got to take the ones that work for you in this season, and then know that you're going to get faster and better at these things, and then you can add the next one. If you were on a podcast last year and it's still, the points on it resonate and you fully believe it and it's still accurate, you can make a blog post of it today and link the episode, right? Like this timeline thing of like, I got to do it the week it comes out, that's garbage. You can do it at various different times and it's still going to be building that authority. What doesn't build authority is not sharing anything and then ghosting the host and then burning that bridge, because all a host wants you to do is share it with your people, because that's a mutual agreement. When you get on the show, they say yes to you, that you both share each other with your audience. And when you fail to do that, you can be burning a bridge that you didn't really mean to, because podcast hosts get asked questions a lot. And we get asked for, who can you recommend that does X, Y, and Z? If you nail your speaking topic and you have done what a strategic guest would do, which was my last solo episode, then you're going to be top of mind from that host. And that's where most of my referrals come from, is podcast hosts that I had a great talk with and stayed in contact with. And then you can return the favor. That's how I wake up and I open threads, and hosts that I've been on last year in 2025, they're tagging me all the time for anything regarding podcast guesting, speaking, people looking for guests. They're tagging me because that is the topic I constantly talk about. And I just keep repeating it on all my guesting episodes. And each one is slightly different and each one has a different take because the podcast is different, but you're repeating it. Nobody is going to say, gosh, why didn't you change it up a little? No, they're coming to hear about your topic. They're coming to hear me talk about podcast guest speaking. So nail that topic. That's exactly what I do for my clients in my podcast tour offer. If you need help with that, it's linked in the show notes. Take this, run with it. Hopefully it gives you ideas for what you can do to share and boost that authority after you have spoken on a podcast. And a lot of these tasks are really great. If you do have a VA or someone that works with you, give them these tasks, offload this. All right, see you next week. Hey, before you go, if you've ever wished podcast guesting or hosting felt a little easier, you're going to love this. I started a free podcast matchmaking community where hosts and guests can actually connect, swap shows, and find aligned conversations without all the cold pitching and chaos. It's totally free, it's super fun, and it's growing every day. So whether you're looking to grow your audience, get in front of the right people, or just finally get your message out there, come join us. You can find the link in the show notes to join the community.